Welcome back to the deep dive. It's really great to have you with us today, and we wanted to tackle a very specific challenge. If you're a school founder, a manager, or an administrator, you are probably feeling this immense pressure to adopt AI.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone wants the innovation, but, nobody wants the liability that comes with it.
Right. It's that whole move fast and break things mentality.
Which is, it's just a terrible model for schools. You can't break things when you're dealing with student privacy and well-being.
So that's what we really want to unpack today, this idea of an ethical AI framework.
And we're not talking about some abstract philosophical thing here. This is about practical structure.
A structure for how you choose the tech, how you use it, and I guess how you monitor it to make sure it aligns with your responsibilities.
Exactly. And the good news is we don't have to invent this from scratch. We can pull from some really heavy hitters. I'm talking about the OECD AI principles and UNESCO's recommendations on the ethics of AI.
So there are global standards for this.
There are. They all focus on human rights, on fairness. But for a school leader, the most immediate practical takeaway is a concept called data minimization.
Data minimization. I've heard that term, but what does it actually look like in a school setting?
It just means you only share what is strictly necessary to get a specific job done.
So an example would be?
Well, if you're using a tool to analyze, say, reading levels, that tool does not need a student's full name, their address, or their disciplinary history. You have to anonymize the input.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is probably the most important part. You need a guarantee that the vendor isn't using your students' data to train their public models.
Because once an essay or an assessment is fed into one of those public models, you've essentially lost control of it. It's just out there.
It's out there forever. Which brings us to the second pillar, which is fairness and human oversight.
The human-in-the-loop requirement.
That's it. Look, AI is incredible at recognizing patterns, but it completely lacks context.
So the AI can maybe help grade a multiple-choice quiz, but it's the teacher who has to sign the report card.
It's even deeper than that. An AI should never, ever make a high-stakes decision on its own.
Things like placement testing or maybe admission screening.
Precisely. A human being has to review the output from the AI, specifically to check for bias. We know these models can inherit biases from their training data.
And you don't want an algorithm unintentionally discriminating against a whole group of your students.
You don't. And this all ties back to transparency, being honest with your families about how these tools are being used.
So you tell them, yes, we use AI to assist staff, but you clarify that it's not replacing professional judgment.
It's an assistant, not a replacement. You also need to be clear about the difference between tools for staff-like admin support and tools for students, which is more about digital literacy.
Okay, let's get into those use cases then. We know efficiency is a huge goal, but where is that line between helpful and risky?
The golden rule is pretty simple. AI is a support system. It is not a decision maker.
So for a teacher, a safe use case would be generating ideas for a lesson.
Perfect. Generating lesson outlines, differentiation ideas, or a first draft of a rubric, as long as no identifiable student data is put into the prompt.
And on the operational side?
It's great for summarizing long reports or drafting newsletters, again, using anonymized data within a secure system.
But there have to be some hard lines, some real no-go zones.
Oh, for sure. Automated disciplinary decisions are the big one. Never let code decide a punishment.
Of course.
And also things like predictive behavioral scoring or trying to make mental health inferences. An AI can't know the difference between a student having a bad day and a student in crisis. That requires human empathy.
So how do you turn all of this into an actual policy without getting bogged down for a year?
It doesn't take a year. Think of it more like a 30 to 60-day sprint.
A sprint? Okay, what are the steps?
First, translate these principles into clear written rules. Define who can use what. Second, you vet your vendors relentlessly.
Which means asking very direct questions.
Very direct. How is our data stored? Do you use it for model training? How long is it retained? And once you have your policy and your vetted tools, you run a small pilot. Test it in a controlled way before any big rollout.
Start small, stay safe. It seems like the schools that really get this right are the ones that realize that this technology makes the human element more valuable, not less.
That's the paradox, isn't it? In a world that's becoming more and more automated, that genuine human connection and mentorship that you offer, that becomes your most valuable asset. The tech is just there to clear the administrative clutter so you can focus on that.
That's a powerful thought to leave us with. Thank you so much for listening to The Deep Dive today.
Thank you.